Hello students, let us start our new session with the example based on resistor in series which we have understood in previous session, last topic. So the example is an electric lamp whose resistance is 20 ohm and a conductor of 4 ohm resistance are connected to a 6 volt battery. So which things are given as shown in figure? 20 ohm resistance and a conductor. A lamp is given whose resistance is 20 ohm. A conductor resistor whose resistance is 4 ohm. 6 volt battery. Ammeter is connected in series with a plug key. Now they ask to calculate three things. First, the total resistance of the circuit. So how many resistance are given? One electric lamp whose resistance is 20 ohm. So one resistor we can consider as a 20 ohm. Another resistor of a conductor which is a 4 ohm. So two resistors now are connected in series, 4 ohm plus 20 ohm. So according to the equivalent resistor of series connection, we can say R equal to R1 plus R2, 20 ohm plus 4 ohm. Total resistor would be 24 ohm. Now the second question is the current through the circuit. So now we need to determine the current. In the series, current remains same. Here we are going to apply Ohm's law. Ohm's law is V equals to IR. Here we need to calculate current. So make the subject of formula I. So I equal to V by R. R would be the total series equivalent resistance which we have calculated in first point. So my current would be 6 volt, that is a battery voltage, divided by total resistance 24 ohm. So 6 volt by 24 ohm, the current would be 0.25 ampere. Now the third point is the potential difference across the electric lamp and conductor. So now we need to determine a voltage drop across individual resistor, that would be V1 and V2. So let us calculate it. Here again we are going to apply Ohm's law. V equals to IR. So voltage drop across lamp, I is same in series. So I is 0.25 ampere which we have calculated in second point. And the resistor of lamp is 20 ohm. So V1 equals to IR 0.25 ampere into 20 ohm. So voltage drop would be 5 volt. Another voltage drop across second resistor, that would be 4 ohm conductor resistor. So again V equals to IR, I is same 0.25 ampere into the resistor 4 ohm. So it would be 1 volt. Right? So suppose that we like to replace the series combination of electric lamp and conductor by a single equivalent resistor. Its resistance must be such that a potential difference of 6 volt across the battery terminals which cause a current 0.25 ampere in the circuit. So the resistor is V by I, 6 volt divided by 0.25 ampere equal to 24 ohm, which is our equivalent series connection R1 plus R2, sum of the individual resistors. Now the next type of resistors connection, that would be a parallel connection. In parallel connection, all the resistors are connected. One terminals of each resistors connected at one point. Other terminals supposed to be connected at another point. So one point is defined as an X, another point is defined as a Y. Battery is connected with plug key and total current we can measure, that would be I. Now we know that here while we are going to connect in closed loop, closed path, here three paths we have to flow. One is from R1 battery to R1 to ammeter to key. Second path is second path of current which can choose from battery towards R2 to emitter to plug key. Third path current can choose from battery to R3 to emitter to plug key. So here we can say that in series all resistors are onto the same line. So there is only one closed loop path is available from which current is supposed to flow. But here current has three different paths in parallel. So they can choose any path, or we can say current is going to be divided based on the resistance value. But in parallel, as we know, voltage remains same. Right? So first what we are going to do? We are going to measure a potential difference across a resistor between X and Y. That would be my V. And we are going to measure a total current which we are going to connect as a first circuit shown. So what will happen? As current flowing through the battery, it has a three parts which it can flow. So we consider as I1 current is flowing from R1, I2 current is flowing from R2, I3 current is flowing from R3. But at the point of Y, all three currents are going to be merged and flowing from emitter. So here in first diagram, we can see that whatever the current is supposed to be measured by emitter, it's my total current I. So first step is we are going to measure a voltage drop across a resistor V and total current which is passing through the whole circuit, that is I. Now what is our another task is? We are going to measure a current and voltage drop across individual path. For example, here we can choose a superposition theorem. Superposition theorem suggests that while we are going to measure individual component, we are avoiding other components. For example, we want to measure a current I1 passing through R1. So forget about R2 and R3. Right? So, as per shown in second diagram, keep the voltmeter across R1 only and ammeter in series of R1 only. Forget about R2 and R3 and measure the current I1 and voltage V. Same way, now replace a voltmeter and ammeter condition. Keep a voltmeter across R2 and ammeter in series with R2. So it is going to measure I2 current and voltage drop across R2 as in V. Now third step, replace a voltmeter and ammeter with the R3, voltmeter across R3 in parallel and ammeter in series of the R3 to measure the current I3. So in first case, from the first diagram, we able to measure a voltage drop across all these three resistors in parallel and total current flowing through the circuit as an I. Now from the second circuit, we can understood that we are going to measure voltage and current from that individual path, from that individual resistors. So we able to understand that I equals to I1 plus I2 plus I3 and voltage are remaining same even though we are measuring from the first diagram parallel to all three resistors or from the second diagram individual across R1 or R2 or R3, we are having a same voltage drop in parallel, so V remains constant. But here current value is different, I1, I2 and I3, and I is the total current flowing through the circuit, that I equals to I1, I2, I3, which we are getting from the observation. Right? So now apply Ohm's law for the current. V equals to IR. So I equals to V by R. So I1 is V by R1. I2 is V by R2 and
I3 is V by R3. Replace in the equation I plus I1 plus I2 plus I3. So I equals to V by equivalent resistance Rp equal to I1 is V by R1 plus I2 is V by R2 plus I3 is V by I3. Voltage is same. In LHS and RHS side, it would be avoided. So my equivalent resistance would be 1 upon Rp equals to 1 upon R1 plus 1 upon R2 plus 1 upon R3. So here we can conclude that the reciprocal of the equivalent resistance of a group of resistance joined in parallel is equal to the sum of reciprocals of individual resistance. And here, whatever the equivalent resistance we are getting in parallel Rp, that would be smaller than the smallest resistance across R1, R2 and R3. So, R1, R2 and R3, all these three have the different resistance value. Rp is lesser than among all these three resistance value. Let us go through the example regarding this. In the circuit diagram given in the figure, suppose resistors R1 and R2 and R3 have the values 5 ohm, 10 ohm, and 30 ohm respectively, which have been connected to a battery of 12 volt. Calculate a current through each resistance, the total current in the circuit and total circuit resistance. So three resistance values are given: 5 ohm, 10 ohm and 30 ohm. Voltage, battery voltage is given is a 12 volt. So we need to find out current through each resistor. So I1 equals to V by R1. So 12 volt divided by 5 ohm, that would be 2.4 ampere. I2 equal to V by R2. So 12 volt divided by 10 ohm, that is 1.2 ampere. And I3 is V by R3, that is a 12 volt divided by 30 ohm, that is 0.4 ampere. So now we have I1, I2 and I3. So second question is the total current in the circuit. So total current is I equal to I1 plus I2 plus I3, which we have calculated in first point, 2.4 ampere plus 1.2 ampere plus 0.4 ampere. So total current would be 4 ampere. Now in the third point, it is asking the total circuit resistance. So equivalent resistance for the parallel is 1 upon Rp equal to 1 upon R1 plus 1 upon R2 plus 1 upon R3. So R1 is 5, 1 upon 5 plus R2 is 10 ohm, so 1 upon 10 plus R3 is 30 ohm, so 1 upon 30. So equivalent would be 1 by 3. So Rp is 3 ohm. Right? Clear everybody? Now, let us focus on another example. If in figure R1 is 10 ohm, R2 is 40 ohm, R3 is 30 ohm, R4 is 20 ohm and R5 is 60 ohm. And the voltage battery is 12 volt is connected as shown in figure. Now we need to calculate the total resistance in the circuit and total current flowing through it. First we need to observe the circuit. R1 and R2 both are in parallel. R3, R4 and R5, these three resistors are in parallel. So first we need to solve R1, R2 which are in parallel. So 1 upon R dash equal to 1 upon R1 plus 1 upon R2 equal to 1 upon 10 ohm plus 1 upon 40 ohm. So equivalent would be 5 by 40. So my equivalent resistance R dash is 8 ohm. This is the equivalent of R1 and R2, two resistors are in parallel. Now in the below part, three resistors are in parallel, R3, R4 and R5. Let us solve this. Its equivalent resistance. 1 by R double dash equal to 1 upon R3 plus 1 upon R4 plus 1 upon R5, and that would be 1 upon 30 plus 1 upon 20 plus 1 upon 60. So its equivalent would be 6 by 60. So R double dash equal to 10 ohm. Now replace R dash instead of R1 and R2 parallel, and replace R double dash instead of R3, R4 and R5. So now we can redraw this diagram. So we have the equivalent circuit is battery, R dash, emitter, R double dash. So by observing this circuit, we can say that now R dash and R double dash now in series. So total resistance for the series, simply the sum of two resistors. So total resistance R equal to R dash plus R double dash. So R dash is 8 ohm, R double dash is 10 ohm. So equivalent total resistance of the circuit is 18 ohm. Right? That would be a first case solution. Now the second case, the total current flowing in the circuit. I equals to V by R. V is 12 volt. R is, which we have solved in first case, 18 ohm. So 12 volt by 18 ohm, that would be 0.67 ampere. Clear everybody? So let us go through the summary of the resistance of a system. In a series circuit, the current is constant throughout the electric circuit. Thus, it is obviously impracticable to connect the electric bulb and electric heater in the series because they need different current values. They need a currents of widely different values to operate properly. Another major disadvantage of a series circuit is that when one component fails in the circuit is broken, it will be open, so no current can move further, so none of the component can work properly. While we discuss for the parallel circuit, a parallel circuit divides the current through the electrical gadgets. A total resistance in the parallel circuit is decreased. This is helpful particularly when each gadget has different resistance and require different current to operate it properly. Now, the next point is heating effect of electric current. The source has to keep expanding its energy to maintain the current in the circuit. Now, a part of the source energy is maintaining the current may be consumed into the work. For example, in rotating the blades of electric fan. The rest of the source of energy may be expended in heat to raise the temperature of gadget. Example, an electric fan becomes warm if it is used continuously for longer time. Just like if we are using our mobile phone or laptop continuously, right, it starts to get heated. So we can say that from the source, whatever the energy are delivered that we are using we are using it, that particular gadget. But if we are using it for a longer time, it's not just passing the current for our using purpose, but our device, our gadget start to get warm, start to get heated. So this is how our energy can transfer in terms of heat. If the electric circuit is purely resistive, the source energy continuously gets dissipated entirely in the form of heat. This is known as a heating effect of electric circuit. This effect is utilized in devices such as electric heater or electric iron. We are using this principle for some of the gadgets. Let us go through the circuit diagram given in the figure, in which current I is flowing through the resistor. Its potential difference across that resistor is V. t is the time during which a charge q flowing across the circuit. So the total work done to move that charge q through the potential difference V is V into Q. So now the source must supply energy at least up to VQ, which is my work done to move that charge Q within that time T. Right? So power input is delivered from the circuit, from the source is work done per time, that is a VQ by T. And Q by T, charge per time, is nothing but a current. So we can say power must be delivered by the circuit or the source is V into I. Now the energy supplied to the circuit by the source in time T is P into T, that would be V I T. So this energy gets dissipated in the resistor as a heat. So the heat is produced in time T is H equal to VIT. So as we apply the Ohm's law, V equals to IR. So replace in the heat equation V equals to IR. So 2 times I in the multiple form, it can replace as a I square. So heat equation can be rewrite in terms of I square RT. That is known as Joule's law of heating, I square RT. Here the law implies that heat produced in a circuit, 3 components are there for it. Heat is directly proportional to the square of the current given for a resistor. That 3 components based on the equation of Joule's law of heat, that is I square RT. So first is heat is directly proportional to the square of the current. Second is heat is proportional to the resistance of a circuit. And third is heat is proportional to the time for which the current flowing through the resistor. So I square R and T. In practical situation, electric appliance is connected to a voltage source. After calculating the current through it, we are using the relation I equals to V by R based on the Ohm's law. Right? So let us go through the example regarding the heat. An electric iron consumes energy at a rate of 840 volt when heating is at the maximum rate and 360 volt when the heating is at the minimum. The voltage is 220 volt. What are the current and resistance in each case? So here power input is V into I. So I equals to P by V. Now the first case, what is given? When heating is at the maximum rate, I equals to P by V. At that time the power is 840 volt and the voltage is 220 volt is common. So I is 3.82 ampere. Now the resistance R equals to V by I. V is 220 volt, so and current is 3.82 ampere. So that would be 57.60 ohm. Now in second case, when heating is at the minimum rate, so replace the power value 360 volt instead of 840 from the first case. Voltages remain same 220 volt. So I equals to P by V. P is 360 volt. Voltage is 220 volt. So my current value is 1.64 ampere. And R is V by I. V is 220 volt. Current we have calculated 1.64 ampere. So the resistance value would be 134.50 ohm. Now the next example is, if 100 joule of heat is produced each second in a 4 ohm resistance, find the potential difference across the resistor. Heat is given 100 joule, R is given 4 ohm, time is given 1 second. In each second, matlab 1 second. So we need to calculate
V. So what the heat value is? Heat equals to I square RT. To get the voltage, first we need to calculate a current. So make the subject of formula I. So it would be equal to under root of H by RT. Replace the value of H, R and T which is given already. So current would be 5 ampere. Now to get the potential difference, use Ohm's law, V equals to IR. I we have calculated 5 ampere and resistor is given 5 ohm. Replace that value. So our solution would be 20 volt. Now the next topic is practical applications of heating effect of electric current. So the generation of heat in a conductor is an equivalent inevitable consequences of electric current. In many cases, it is undesirable as it converts useful energy into heat. In electric circuits, unavoidable heating can increase the temperature of the components and alter their properties. Their device property can be changed by heating. So, however, heating effect of electric current in useful somewhere in many applications. In these applications would be electric laundry iron, toaster, oven, kettle, heater, etc., which are working on Joule's law of heating. One application we are going to discuss over here, that is the electric bulb. Here filament has retained as much of heat generated as is possible, so that gets very hot and emits the light. Right? Electric heating is used to produce a light as an electric bulb. In electric bulb, filament is available. We are going to give a heat to this filament which generates heat and gets light or emits light. It must not melt at high temperature. For that, strong metal with high melting point we are using. So material must be which has a high melting point, and tungsten we are using for that, whose melting point is 3380 degrees Celsius. So it can sustain at larger heat, so it can emit a more luminate light. So its light intensity can be higher. So tungsten generally we are using for making a bulb filament. This filament should be thermally isolated as much as possible using insulating support. The bulbs are usually filled with the chemically inactive nitrogen and argon gases to prolong the life of filament. Most of the power consumed by the filament appears as heat, but a small part of it is in the form of light, which is going to be radiated, and bulb emits the light. Second application we are going to discuss over here, that is a fuse. Basically, the fuse is used in electric circuit to protect a circuit and appliances by stopping the flow of heavy current, high current, which is not a constant, that is an unduly high current. The fuse is placed in series with a device. It consists of a piece of wire made of a metal or alloy of appropriate melting point. For example, the material we can use to design a fuse may be aluminum, copper, iron, lead. If a larger current than the specified value flows through the circuit, the temperature of the fuse increases, and as the melting point is low for the fuse, metal of the fuse wire get heated and breaks. As the fuse wire is heated, it is going to be burned, so the path will be open, that circuit will be breaks down because fuse is heated. So now my circuit would be open, current won't flow further, so the circuit is break down. So whatever the appliances we are connecting at another side, it can be safe. So the fuse wire is usually encased in cartridge of porcelain or similar material with metal ends. The fuse used for domestic purpose are rated as 1 ampere, 2 ampere, 3 ampere, 5 ampere or 10 ampere. Likewise, their ratings are there. For an electric iron which consumes 1 kilowatt electric power when operated through 220 volt, for example. So, power by voltage, the current I is P by V. So, 1000 volt power divided by 220 volt. So, that current would be 4.54 ampere. So, this current can allow to pass. So, for that we are using 5 ampere fuse. Right? So, this is how some of the applications are there due to the heating effect. Now, the next topic is electric power. The rate of doing work is power. Rate of consumption of energy, this is also we can define as in power. So, power P equals to V into I. Using Ohm's law, if we are replace I by V replaced by IR, so equation can be rewrite in terms of I square R. And if we are replacing I equals to V by R, so the power equation can be replaced with V square by R, or we can rewrite in terms of V square by R. SI unit of power is volt. So it is the power consumed by a device that carries a 1 ampere of current when operated at a potential of 1 volt. So 1 volt equals to 1 volt into 1 ampere. So 1 volt would be equal to 1 volt into ampere. Volt is a very small unit. Generally we are using kilowatt, and kilowatt equal to 1000 volts. Since electric energy is the product of power and time, and unit of energy is watt hour. 1 watt hour is the energy consumed when 1 watt of power is used for 1 hour. For commercial use, unit of electric energy is kilowatt hour, commonly used as a unit. Generally we are using for at our home at electric meter in terms of unit, and that 1 unit equal to 1 kilowatt hour. 1 kilowatt hour is 1000 watt into 3600 second. So 3.6 into 10 raised to 6 watt into second. So we can say 3.6 into 10 raised to 6 joule. This is how we can rewrite in number of units. Let us go through the example of it. An electric bulb is connected to a 220 volt generator. The current is 0.5 ampere. What is the power of the bulb? P equals to V into I. V is 220 volt, current is 0.5 ampere. So power is 110 joule per second or 110 volt. Another example, an electric refrigerator rated 400 volt operates 8 hours per day. What is the cost of the energy to operate it for 30 days at rupees 3 per kilowatt hour? Right? We need to find out the cost. So for that, first we need to find out its total energy consumed by the refrigerator in 30 days. That would be 400 watt into 8 hours per day. So into 30 days. So my total power consumption is 96,000 watt hour or 96 kilowatt hour. That would be 1 unit. So now the cost of energy to operate a refrigerator for 30 days, 1 unit into 3 rupees. So per kilowatt hour 3 rupees are there. So how many kilowatt hour we have calculated? 96. So 96 kilowatt hour into 3 rupees. So total cost is 288. For 30 days, refrigerator can be operated. Right? So here we are going to end this session. Here we are going to end our chapter. Hope you understood the whole chapter thoroughly. Thank you.